Let's talk about this disastrous interview that Donald Trump did on Meet the Press with Kristen Welker. I'm not going to actually show the video of Donald Trump. I'm going to describe what's happened. So if you want to watch Donald Trump video, you're not going to get it here, but I need to provide you urgently with the information. Kristen Welker, I think, did a horrible job on this interview fact-checking Donald Trump. She basically refused to do it. Donald Trump continued to spew lies. Kristen Welker asked the following question: Mr. Trump, do you have an actual plan at this point for healthcare? Donald Trump said, yes, we have concepts of a plan that will be better. To which Welker responded, still just concepts? Do you have a fully developed plan? And then she just basically left it there. What she refused to do is go over all of the times over the past now, 5, 6, 7, 8 years? I guess you can go back to 2016 when Donald Trump said that he had a plan, but that it never materialized, and that he also wanted to revoke the Affordable Care Act. She should have asked him that. So are you going to repeal the Affordable Care Act as stated in Project 2025? Maybe she should have asked him, hey, by the way, Donald Trump, do you now know what Project 2025 is? Because you pretended not to know about it, but seems like everybody in your cabinet were the authors of Project 2025. I don't know. That's maybe what I would have asked. Well, here's what Kristen Welker asked. Next she goes, do you commit to releasing your medical records, Mr. Trump? To which he responds, sure, I do it all the time. I think I've released 4 of them. Okay, that is not true. You need to have your fact check and say the only time you released records were not records at all. What you released were a statement that you actually dictated back in 2015 from a gastroenterologist who's no longer alive, who said that you wrote the doctor's note. Mr. Trump, did you write that doctor's note? And also, why haven't you released the medical records from Butler, Pennsylvania? You're refusing to release those records? That's suspicious. That's odd. That's what I would have asked if I was Kristen Welker. But hey, that's why we're not the corporate media. Kristen Welker then asked Donald Trump, so, do you think Liz Cheney should go to jail? Donald Trump then responds, for what they did, anybody that voted in favor of the January 6th committee, yes, they should. He then mentions Benny Thompson and a bunch of other people as well, to which Kristen Welker responds, are you going to direct your FBI director, attorney general, to send them to jail? And then Donald Trump goes, not at all. I think they'll have to look at that. And then she doesn't respond. Maybe you should respond and say, when you say they'll have to look at that, are you telling right now here on public TV your future FBI director and attorney general that they need to look into imprisoning, incarcerating people like Liz Cheney? Sir, do you realize how unprecedented that is? Do you see anything wrong about you saying that? But of course, she didn't ask that question. Then Donald Trump is asked about Pete Hegseth, an individual who Donald Trump has picked to be his Secretary of Defense, the weekend host of Fox and Friends or some Fox show, someone who was in the National Guard but never actually led a company in the military at all, someone who has sex assault allegations against him, which he made hush money payments related thereto and has an NDA related to that. Somebody who 2 veterans group he was affiliated with and pushed out, talked about financial issues with him being a drunk, him separating women within the organizations into party girls and non-party girls, more NDAs relating to his time at those veterans group. He denies those allegations. But Trump goes, I've spoken to people who know Hegseth very well, and they say he does not have a drinking problem. Seriously? Maybe the follow-up Welker here is, well, you do realize that Hegseth's own mother wrote a letter saying that her son was an abuser of women. You are aware that Hegseth himself said that he had a drinking problem. Hegseth now goes, I found Jesus Christ, and therefore you should just ignore my past and give me the nuclear codes. That's Hegseth's position, but Hegseth claims that he was drinking in the past. Lots of other people say he still drinks a ton now. And how about Donald Trump? Do you think that the Secretary of Defense's mommy should be going on TV shows to say that if you give her son the nuclear codes, then he'll become a good boy and he'll stop drinking? I don't know. That would be my follow-up if I was given the interview. Kristen Welker then says, economists of all stripes say that ultimately consumers pay the price of tariffs, to which Donald Trump responds, I don't believe that. Welker responds, can you guarantee American families won't pay more for groceries, for eggs, and for other things? Donald Trump says, I can't guarantee anything. Maybe you should then follow up there, Welker, and say, but isn't that what you promised during your campaign? Weren't those the guarantees that you made when you were running? Didn't you say, I guarantee that if you pick me, I alone will fix it? Seems that you guaranteed everything to the American people. Now you're saying you can't guarantee anything? I don't know. That's what I would have asked. Kristen Welker then asks, for the sake of unifying this country, Mr. Trump, will you, she calls him president, I'm calling him Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump, will you concede the 2020 election and turn the page on that chapter? Trump goes, no. Why would I do that?
All right, let's talk about NAD+. It's in every living cell in your body, and it helps keep you young by repairing damage, detoxifying, and giving you energy. But between age 20 and 50, your NAD+ levels are cut in half. No wonder we start feeling older, more tired, and less vibrant. But here's the good news. Qualia NAD+ makes it easy to boost your NAD+ levels by 74%. It's a simple supplement that's vegan, gluten-free, non-GMO, and packed with ingredients to help you feel at your peak longer into life. Qualia NAD Plus contains the most powerful NAD Plus precursors like niacin, niacinamide, and Niagen. These ingredients are clinically tested to boost your NAD Plus levels, and Qualia NAD Plus has many other holistic ingredients that support all major aspects of NAD Plus production in your body. Plus, it's doctor formulated, so you know it's the real deal. I've been using Qualia NAD Plus since they sent it to me, and the difference is huge. I actually feel energized, awake, and ready to take on the day. I had no idea how much my low NAD Plus was dragging me down. To boost your NAD Plus levels by up to 74%, go to qualialife.com/Jordy for up to 50% off and use code Jordy at checkout. That's JORDY at checkout for an additional 15% off. That's qualialife.com/Jordy, JORDI, for 15% off your purchase. Thanks to Qualia for sponsoring today's episode.
The follow-up would be because you lost? Because it's embarrassing? Because we're in 2024? And it's humiliating that you keep on saying that you won in 2020? Kristen Welker then responds, you promised Mr. Trump to end birthright citizenship on day one. Is that still your plan? Donald Trump responds, yeah, absolutely. To be clear, birthright citizenship is in the United States Constitution. So what dictatorial day one order? Oh, is that where you said you're going to be a dictator on day one? Is that one of those dictator on day one promises that you're going to override the United States Constitution? That you're going to do this, without legislation? That you're going to do this without a constitutional amendment? So let's be very clear for all the Latino Trump voters who believe they're fine because you were born in the United States, even if you were somehow okay with your parents and your uncles and family members getting deported. Let's be very clear what Donald Trump just said. He said he's coming for you. That's what he just said. Donald Trump then says that Canada and Mexico should become states. They should be annexed. He goes, we're subsidizing Canada to the tune of over $100 billion a year. We're subsidizing Mexico to the tune of almost $300 billion a year. If we're going to subsidize them, let them become a state. Let them become a state. Do we all realize, could you imagine if President Biden was sitting down for an interview and said that Canada should become a state? Do you know what the New York Times, Washington Post headlines would be? You know what CNN would be covering around the clock? They would say, Joe's either got dementia or he's threatening a war with our ally. He needs to be impeached immediately. Do you doubt for 1 second that's what the headlines would actually be? Well, that's why we're covering it here on the MeidasTouch network as it should. That right there is disqualifying. It's heinous. It's despicable. And, you know, one of the things that I'm glad is when you see people like President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico standing up to Donald Trump and his ridiculous, despicable behavior. Trump then lies and says there have been 13,099 murderers released into our country over the last 3 years. Welker tries to fact check him and goes, the 13,000 figure I think goes back around 40 years. Then Donald Trump just lies. This is why Kristen Welker and people of her ilk are ill-equipped to do these interviews and just should not do interviews like this. Trump goes, no, it doesn't. It's within the 3-year period. It's during the Biden term. It's totally false. Not true at all. Every aspect of it's a lie, and it's a big lie. So people believe big lies sometimes. Could go, how could someone lie about 13,099? Seems like a pretty specific number. There must be some truth. Nope. False. He lies about everything. Kristen Welker then says, do you commit that the United States will remain a member of NATO while you're in office? And Trump says, no, I won't commit to that. He goes, if they pay their bills, then sure. If they don't pay their bills, then I won't allow America to stay a member of NATO and we'll break up NATO. NATO is paying its bills. Again, Kristen Welker's response should be like, are you aware that NATO, and what figures are you using right now with NATO not paying its fair share right here? And also, you realize that security arrangements and geopolitical structures should be viewed a little bit different than just some like transactional quid pro quo, I scratch your back, you scratch my back, where the stability of the entire kind of world order depends on a stable United States of America. Because Trump, you want to disband NATO? Guess what's going to happen? The BRICS bloc is gonna grow big and China is waiting. They're saying, hey, Mexico, you taking a look at what's going on over there? We got your back. Look at all the investments we're making. We're not going to threaten you. We're not going to bully you. We're not calling you a 51st state of China. We're going to help you out. We're going to build bridges and roads and factories. That's exactly what the Belt and Roads program is in China, the new Silk Road program of China. And Trump is being played like a fiddle. Kristen Welker then says, so why didn't Democrats steal the elections again if they have more power now? And then Trump goes, I think it was too big to rig. And of course, she doesn't follow up with them. Kristen Welker says, should Ukraine prepare for less aid from the United States after you're in office? Trump says, yes, possibly they should. Kristen Welker says, so you said during the campaign that you can end the war in 24 hours. Donald Trump said, I'm trying to. Welker says, have you talked to Putin? Trump says no. Welker says, you haven't talked to Putin since you've been elected? Trump goes, I don't want to say that, but I haven't spoken to him recently. Do you notice how it goes from, I promise, I guarantee on day one this will happen, to I'm trying to? Again, this should be a massive headline. I'm trying to? Your whole thing was, I guarantee it. You did the accordion, I promise you. Now I'm trying to? Okay, where's the outrage? I'm outraged. Where's the outrage? Oh, and by the way, when Donald Trump was in France at the Cathedral of Notre Dame opening, here's what he goes. This is like dementia riddled in my opinion. He goes, we have a great relationship. The people of France are spectacular. It's one of our largest groups in the U.S. The people of France are one of our largest groups in the U.S. French people, extremely energetic people, as you know. We had a good time together. We had a lot of success working together on defense and offense too. The hell is he even talking about here? Oh, and then going back to my Latinos for Trump friends, Trump goes, I don't want to break up the family. So the only way you don't break up the family is you keep them together and you send them all back. So what he's saying is, if you're here, if you're a citizen here, and you have family members who are not citizens, he's saying that he's going to round you all up and send you all back. That's what he said right there. So there you have it. I didn't show the clips. I reenacted it for you. If you want to see his videos, you can go elsewhere. But here, that's what I'm going to do on my videos for you. Anyway, hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.